Can I call the can I call the meeting to order, please? If we can have the Budget Committee members grab their seats. Eating on the run here. Welcome. We do have quorum for the 6th meeting of the Budget Committee. If everybody can quieten down a bit, the meeting has already started. I appreciate that. I'd like to acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We also want to acknowledge that Toronto was covered by the Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. Of course, you can watch us on YouTube at Toronto City Council Live or follow us on your computer at toronto.ca/council. Are there any declarations of municipal conflict under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act? Seeing none, I have a motion to confirm the minutes of the Budget Committee meeting on April 15th, 2019. Councillor Bradford, you move that? All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Okay, we got a fairly quick agenda today, I believe. So there's 6 items, so why don't we run down and we'll see what happens. First item, BU 6.1, Arena Boards of Management, 2017 Operating Surpluses, Deficits, and Settlement. Is there any questions on that? These are all for the new members of the Budget Committee, these are very standard things that happen quarterly on a very regular basis at this time of year. Seeing no...
If we could just acknowledge that there's quite a few surpluses here that are going back into the public. We often don't report back enough on when we spend well and find savings in year and are able to roll it back into our budget. So positive story.
Positive story.
Positive
so
story.
We may also want to thank them for their surplus.
Yes, it would have been probably a different conversation this morning than would have been other than the announcement a couple of days prior to that. So anyway, so seeing no questions, all in favor? Opposed? That's carried. BU 6.2, Association of Community Centers, Settlement of Operating Results for the year end 2017. Again, same situation, but with the community centers. There is a surplus of $6,490. Any questions?
I'll move the...
Councillor Layton will move that. And I think Councillor Bradford had moved the first one, just so everyone, the clerk knows. BU 6.2, all in favor. Councillor Layton has moved. Opposed? That's carried. BU 6.4, Fire Services Amendment to the 2019 approved capital budget.
Yeah, I'll move it anyhow.
Oh, did I miss 3? Oh, it's at the bottom there. You're right.
I just would like to hold that to the end. I'm not sure I have any questions, but...
Okay, the facilities budget. Okay, we'll hold 6.3. 6.4, Toronto Fire Services Amendment to the 2019 approved capital budget for the 20 to 2022 cash flows, Station B in Downsview. Any questions on that? Okay, Councillor McKelvey will move that. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. BU 6.5, Information Technology 2018 year-end capital budget and 2019 to 28 capital plan adjustments and accelerations and deferrals. Any questions? Seeing none, Councillor Layton will move that. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. BU 6.6, Project Cost Adjustments and Deferrals, Accelerations to, this is now Parks, Forestry Recreation 2019 capital budget to 2020 to 28 capital plan for the second quarter. Okay, we'll have, so why don't we hold that one down then, and we'll have a couple questions. So why don't we go back to BU 6.3. Councillor Layton, you had some questions, or?
No, just a brief statement, because we should keep an eye on, as we review the energy and environment and energy approved capital projects, because some of these may be delayed due to provincial funding cuts, and I just want to make sure that we highlight that at every possible occasion. It doesn't appear that any of these are, so I'm happy to move the staff recommendations.
Okay, we'll do that. Thank you. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Okay, now we'll go over to BU 6.6. Councillor McKelvey, you had some questions?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I was just wondering, we're starting to move more into partnerships, and many of these partnerships have leveraging. And so I'm just wondering if any of the deferrals or accelerations have implications on any partnerships that we're engaged in, and how are we reporting back on that regularly as well? So matching funds.
Is anybody from Parks or somebody can answer that?
Yes, and through the chair, none of the projects that are in the acceleration deferral report are related to partnership initiatives, so they're not being affected.
If they were, or it was one of those projects, how are we reporting back on if we're meeting our commitment to a project that's a partnership? And if something is deferred within that, how are we reporting back on that?
Through the chair, I don't know that there is a specific mechanism for reporting back on that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Seeing no other, Councillor Nunziata?
Just a question on the Dufferin Grove Park, dogs off leash. So that has been closed because there was lack of support for the project?
And through the chair, that is correct.
So when it was first introduced and brought forward in the budget, was there not a consultation meeting with the community and community supported the project before we budgeted for the project?
Through the chair, I can tell you that there had been a request for a dogs off leash in that park. It was a subject of numerous community consultation meetings and engagement meetings, and it was consensus at those meetings that the dogs off leash area was not supported.
Oh, okay. So, but then but the money was put in the budget before you got support from the community then?
Through the chair, the project did have initial support from a segment of the community.
Right.
And once we went through the engagement process, it became clear that not everyone in the community supported it, and the project's being canceled because there isn't consensus to move forward with it.
Yeah, it's just, I would think that before we put money in a budget that we would know 100% that the community wants it before we budget for the project. I mean, like, I'm just very surprised that that's what happened on this particular project. That's why I'm questioning it. Right?
I totally hear you on that.
I mean, because usually we don't budget for a project unless we're 100% sure that we're going to proceed with it and the community supports it. That's the way it's always been in my area. So, I mean, maybe it's done differently in other areas. I'm not sure, because we should not be budgeting unless we're 100% sure that we're going to proceed with the project. That's my comment.
Okay, noted and totally understood. Councillor Layton.
If I could just point out that on page, I can't see the page number because I think it's punched out by a hole. But there's reference to a Ward 39 park improvement. Ward 39 doesn't exist anymore. Just to highlight that.
Good little note. Hopefully we'll get all those changed
Yep.
next time. Anyway, any other questions? Seeing none, Councillor McKelvey will move that then. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried, and the meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much. And Mike, you can get back to your other meeting. Thank you for coming to this one. Of course, priorities.